Is that pretty neat or what over in the pit?
I like it.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Big equipment, that's where, so what are they mining over there? Gravel, sand and gravel, right? This sand actually came from the pit over there. First thing, I'll introduce myself. My name is Doug. I'm Mr. Doug, since we're being formal. And just a quick question to you guys. So, do you know what you're here for today? What's the main thing of the field trip? Learn how to mine, but what else?
To see what it's like in the mine.
See what it's like in the mine, yeah. But why do we mine? That's the main thing we want you to kind of take away.
To make money.
Well, to make money, to get, well, but it's also
To get a tip.
to get a tip on how to mine or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, the main thing the two main things we want you to kind of take away, hands out please, are to, one, see that science is pretty cool, learn about all the different kinds of science that goes on how we get our stuff that we use every day. And the second thing is just what I said, is to learn where we get our stuff, how we get our stuff that we use all the time, and hope you can kind of learn about that and find out how neat science is behind everything we use. So the first thing, let's talk about just around here, right where we are. How many different mines do you think were needed to just like right where we are? What about like what we're standing on? What do you see there? It's like, what's in that? Yeah, a bunch of gravel, right? And you just saw where that gravel came from. You use that in the pavement. How about like the sidewalk over there by the entryway there?
Oh, I know.
Yeah? Cement, that's right. So cement is made, I don't know if you guys learned that yet over there, I bet you did. But cement has sand and gravel in it, but also has, oh, I'm sorry, that's concrete. Concrete has sand and gravel in it. Cement is made from mainly limestone, right? So the limestone, you saw where the sand and gravel came from, right here. But the limestone may have come from maybe here in Washington State, maybe over Montana, maybe down in Oregon. Well, not so much Oregon, but so it came from some different mines to mix it up with that to make the concrete. What about this shelter here? What's this made out of?
Steel or iron.
No, it's kind of lightweight, right?
Or metal.
It's a metal. It's a kind of metal. It's pretty lightweight. I bet you.
Tin. Foil.
Oh, foil. Aluminum. There you go. It's made of aluminum. Because it's nice and light and it's pretty strong. But also, you probably used aluminum in something else as well.
Aluminum foil.
Who likes pop and juice and things like that?
Oh,
That's all of you.
Cans.
Aluminum cans. That's right. So what do you do? So you drink your pop or juice.
Or like tomato sauce. Baseball bats.
Baseball. There's aluminum baseball bats. But when you're done drinking your pop can, or drinking your pop, what do you do with your can?
Recycle.
Recycle it. Good answer. And so do you know how recycling works or what recycling is?
I do.
Go ahead.
So it's where when you recycle something, people can use it again for different things.
That's exactly
like
right.
recyclable plastic, like if you have a recyclable water bottle, you can recycle it when you're done with it and use it again. So,
That's right. So
but when you recycle it, you can, or people will make another water bottle.
yeah, that's right. So like with the can, we'll use the aluminum can as an example. So you take that can, you put it in the recycle bin. That goes to another place. They'll melt the can down and turn it into another can. So that's a recycle. So we're going to talk about cycles today as well. So it started as a can, got remelted, back to a can, right? So let's do some other mines here. So I guess let me back up. So the aluminum for like the shelter or your pop can, that's coming from places like West Africa, Brazil, Jamaica, Australia. That's where the stuff to make aluminum out of is almost like a clay. And then it gets shipped here in Washington, right here nearby, is another place where they take that material and actually convert it and make it into an aluminum metal that we use into make into all this stuff we just talked about. How about the fence over here? Right here.
That's iron or steel.
Steel, the barbed wire? That's steel, that's right. Who said steel? 'Cause sometimes, that's right. So it's me. I can tell, which is good. That means you're curious. Yeah, so steel is, it's like a soup of different kinds of metals. You mix it together because if it was, it's mostly iron. That's right, I heard someone say iron. But if it was just iron, it would snap. It wouldn't be very good for making some stuff out of it. You need to have it be able to be a little softer so it can move without breaking. And so you add other stuff to the iron like molybdenum or nickel or titanium, different sorts of other sort of metals to give it that nice, good, strong quality that we use for making like beams and stuff. So the iron from to go into that fence is coming from places like maybe Minnesota, Eastern Canada, Western Africa, Australia again. Australia has lots of minerals. So it's coming from all over the world. The molybdenum I talked about, that'll come from some mines like in Colorado, maybe down in Chile. Arizona has a lot too. And so now we're talking mines all over the world, to make just a steel beam. Now, one thing, if you look over in the parking lot over there, there's some steel beams over there. What's happening to those?
Rusty.
They're getting rusty. You're right, yeah. Because one thing with iron, iron likes to rust, and so you have to coat it with something like Statue of Liberty. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they put a coat of copper on it actually so it didn't rust. So you need to coat your steel. So there's two ways to coat the steel, or the easy ways. And look at the fence again. It looks kind of silvery. What do you think is on there? This is a test. Nickel. You can use. Okay, so let me stop real quick. It's not copper. Let's stop with nickel real quick though. You put a lot of nickel with iron, it makes what's called stainless steel. It will not rust, and it's a very, very good material, but it's also super expensive. If you had a stainless steel fence here, that would be like you'd have to work for a year to pay for that fence. So a real cheap thing though, and here's a hint. Like if you go out to the lake and you put like some white stuff on your nose so you don't get sunburned, it's real bright white stuff, it's like a paste. It's a sunscreen, yeah, but have you ever like zinc oxide?
Oh
It's
yeah.
like the real white. Yeah, you can put it on, put it on your nose mainly.
Yeah.
So that has a zinc metal in it, and so it's good for blocking the sun. But you can also, if you take a steel rod and you take the steel and you dip it in the zinc, it coats it and makes what's called galvanizing. And so zinc does not rust, so it makes the fence so it won't rust. So zinc will come from mines. There's one right here in Washington, not far from here, the Honduras mine, that you can get zinc from. But it's also mined in places like Tennessee, Sweden and Finland, Australia again, Peru. So all over the world is to get the zinc for doing that, for putting in your sunblock, and things like that. So now we're talking, we've got stuff from all over the world in the simple things we use every day. So that's and you're going to learn more about this at the other stations as well. But for this station, which is called the mining cycle or reclamation, we're gonna mine for something. I'll let you guys pick here in a bit. But first, I want to review cycles. What other cycles have you guys studied? So we talked about recycling. So the cycle recycles all the way around. How about you? Yeah, go. How does the water cycle work? Yeah, that's right. It goes round and round and round. That's right. So how about another cycle? Okay, Horseshack.
Life cycle.
Yeah, so how does that work?
So it'd be like for an insect, it'd probably be egg, larva, pupa, or cocoon, and then adult.
An adult, and then what does the adult do?
And then it lays an egg, starting the cycle over again, or
Yep.
recycling.
Yeah, it's starting the whole cycle over. Excellent. Yeah, so that's a couple of good cycles that you guys have already studied. And so we're going to talk about the mining cycle here. Let me get in here real quick and start talking about it. So the first thing we're going to decide what to do is what to mine for. So what should we mine for? And we talked about all different kinds of stuff, and I forgot to mention one, but that's all right. Let's go with you. Gold. We can mine for gold. What else? Diamonds. We mine for gold. That usually comes from the girls, but good. Anything else? Ore, but yeah, well, so ore, just a little side thing here. Ore is like a rock that has stuff in it that you want. So it could be anything in there. How about you?
Sapphires, rubies,
Sapphires,
emeralds.
All of the above. How about you? What do you got? Gems, yeah. So, okay, we'll go for gems. Yeah, so we can mine for the iron that goes into the steel.
Expensive stuff.
Expensive stuff. We know you make more money in, actually, than mining. Like, everyone thinks like a gold mine is a gold mine.
Salt. You can mine for salt.
You can mine for salt. Yeah, that's
Sulfur.
Flint.
sulfur. No, you know what makes more money than gold?
Quartz.
Sand and gravel over here. You can make so much more money off of mining sand and gravel than you can off of gold. Everyone thinks you got a gold mine, Gold mines are really hard. They're rare and they usually lose money.
Like the gold rush.
Yeah, like
Although
the gold
rush was.
Okay, so we're gonna mine. We're heard a lot of gem stuff. So we're gonna mine for. Let's mine for rubies, right? Rubies are cool because they're pretty, they're red, but they're also using lasers, and so you can use a ruby and a laser as well. So we'll do that. So we're gonna mine for ruby. So now we take our little ruby deposit and put it in there.
But that's real ruby.
It's not real. It's a pretend ruby. I thought you guys were fourth graders. I expect pretend from first grade. You guys are sophisticated. All right, so we're gonna mine for rubies. Do we start digging? Where do we dig for rubies? Can we dig in the parking lot over here? How about the mountain over there?
Yeah.
Yes, that's better because.
How do you know?
It's there's
No, I
more, or there's less air, and I think it's like.
You
more
were taking a
pressure.
stab in the dark. We need some ists. We need some scientists to start helping us out. Okay, so there's all sorts of different kinds of scientists. So what sort of scientist you think is pretty good with rocks and the earth and all that sort of thing?
A geologist?
A geologist, yeah. You want to be a geo or a geologist?
Me.
Yeah. Okay. What's your name? Charlie. Okay. We need another geologist who likes rocks. Okay,
Carson.
Carson and Charlie are geologists. We got plenty of ists. I bet you.
I love geology.
Okay, you can be a geologist as well, but you don't get to be anything else.
Felix.
Felix, okay. Felix and Charlie and Carson. Okay, they're our geologists. All right, so now we're asking them to go find us some rubies. So they've studied the earth. They've gone to school. They've studied the earth, and so they're up here. They're starting to take samples. They're banging on rocks. They're finding the rocks. They're licking the rocks. They're looking.
Actually,
Ooh.
I've ate a lot.
You've not.
Sand. Soaked on it.
Sand.
It was a baby.
I let my kids eat mud, and that's why they were never sick. No, so I'm a mining engineer, so our nickname for geologists is rock lickers. But you can see, if you look there, you can see the little specks in there. You couldn't see that unless you licked it. But now, no one's licking rocks. You need a bachelor's degree, 4 years of college to lick rocks. And knowing a lot of the geologists I know, it takes them that long just to figure out where the classroom is to lick a rock. All right, so all these guys, all their geologists here, they figured it out. Said, yep, we've looked at, and this mountain here is a great place to find rubies. So, do we start digging?
Yeah.
Do you trust them?
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
you can
I do
trust
not
me.
at
Just
all.
hired him a week ago. So.
I know you can't trust them. So we want to figure out how to. We want to figure out if they're right. If there's rubies down in this mountain. So how do you think we look down in the mountain? You could dig. You want to dig a great big hole? That's real expensive. It makes a big mess.
No, you want to dig,
Just get to
dig by more stones because more stones. Where there are more stones at, or less stones at, I think the less stones are, the more.
We're gonna dig.
deeper.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna dig a little tiny hole. We're gonna drill a hole into the mountain and test. So we'll drill a hole into the mountain and take some stuff out and look and say, oh, there's no rubies. No rubies. No rubies, guys.
Told you can.
Hey, I know you couldn't trust him. He's only working for a week. Right? Right? Okay. Yeah, they're jealous. Okay. Okay. You get one more. You get one more. You have budget for one more hole. All right. Ruby's in there. They were right. So good job, guys. So do we start mining?
How do we know it's ruby? How do we
Because
know?
we tested. We sampled it.
But you
We found rubies in the hole.
You just took a sample of sand.
Pretending. All right. So we start mining.
Yeah.
No.
Could
What
be a
a-
red diamond.
what can-
Diamonds could be red.
I know. But we're not gonna. We're looking for rubies that's in a completely different geologic environment. I thought you learned that in school. So, do we start digging? No. What about all the plants and animals up here?
You have to use them. You have to execute them.
The fox is dead.
So what?
Execute them.
We don't execute them. That's not a very good.
Die.
So let's talk about. So, where is the snake? What's the snake moving? Everyone back in. Everyone back in. Okay, you have to wait.
Oh, I'm
All right. All right. So what? The snake is living on these rocks. What is that? Where is the rocks to him?
Oh. That's where he gets sun.
Okay.
The rocks are the area where he gets his spots.
Great. So it's kind of his home, right? What's another name for home?
Oh.
Like where the animals live.
I know. Habitat.
It's its habitat, right? These rocks are the snake's habitat,
And then the snakes
right?
go
And
into
Mufasa
shelter
over here,
fox.
he's got that habitat.
starve.
And you've got the foxes living, this giant foxes living up here in these trees and stuff. So you have all these different habitats, and you have all these plants and animals living together. It's kind of like a system. They all kind of work together. So what kind of system do we have going on up here?
A dead fox.
A dead fox.
Sad. different kinds of animals. That
Yeah, all kind of live together. You heard of ecosystem? Okay. Yeah, so what we have going on up here, so back over here, kids. Go get the play.
They all rely on each other.
Come on in, here, go like here.
So
Sneak
sad.
in. All right, so what we got here, so we have as an ecosystem up here, and so what we've decided to do afterwards is we want this ecosystem working after we're done mining. Now, one thing we could do, this is a native ecosystem, we decided that's what we want to do, but you could also, it could be a farm or a ranch too, if that's what people who live around there want. They maybe want to have a farm there instead, but we're going to go back to the native ecosystem. So now, before we get going, we need a lot of ists to help us out because there's a lot of sort of things living up here, and we need to do like a great big book report to get this thing going. So who likes snakes and lizards?
they kill
You're
each
already an
other.
ist. You got a
Okay, yeah.
herpetologist. How about birds? Birds likes birds. Ornithologist. How about fish? Say we had a creek running down over here with fish in it. Who likes fish? Ichthyologist.
They keep the bucket fast, but alright.
Yeah, ichthyologist. Bugs and insects, things like that. Entomologists. How about plants? We had to say the plants there too. Plants, botanists. So now we've got all these ists up here going around, taking pictures, writing reports, and figuring out exactly how this thing is all working up here. And then maybe the Native Americans or pioneers were living up here too. What kind of studies where people used to live? Like Indiana Jones. What kind of ist are they? Archaeologists. All right, so we have archaeologists also up here taking pictures, taking samples, and things like that. So now we've figured out how this whole thing is working. Do we start mining?
No.
We know we want to put it back. No, what's next?
We have to move this stuff out of the way.
Move the stuff. So you're going to catch a 50-foot fox and get him around the neck? No, I don't think so. But like the herpetologists, they can maybe catch some of the snakes and lizards, move them off to the side to other habitats that are right next door. And then how about the big animals?
They have to die.
Now I think what's going to happen is so much activity up there, they're going to move over to the side. Now we got the plants. What do we do with the plants?
We take them out and put them in the soil.
We do, yeah, the small ones.
And then they die.
The small ones we can do that. We can make what's called a nursery and plant over there. But what about, say we're going to go mine over there with all those ponderosas are. The big tall trees, you can't dig those up and move them.
You have to kill them.
You can cut them up and use them for stuff, but what should we keep from them? And the grasses and the
seeds.
flowers. Save the seeds, right? Yeah, because when I was a kid, I used to like to take pine cones and heave them at my friends. But what's inside the pine cone? Seeds. So we save the seeds. And so we save the seeds and start planting them in the nursery. And the smaller plants we can move. What else might we want to save from here?
Mufasa.
The rocks. Why would we want to save some of these rocks?
For no more stars. Like
Yeah, you can use it for construction. But also, like, where was the snake living? It was a habit. Yeah, so we'll save some of the rocks on the side because there's also another important use for them later too when we're done. All right, so now are we ready to mine? Everything's ready to go.
Let's get the geologist ready.
One more thing we want to save. What do the plants grow in? Soil, the topsoil. We want to save the topsoil. Yeah, we want to save the soil, right? Now, we saved, so now we're all ready to go. Do we start mining? Yeah, no. We have to hire some. We have to now hire some engineers. We have to hire some equipment operators. We have to buy some equipment, which is very expensive. Now do we start mining?
Yes.
Yes. Now we start mining. And my favorite part, blowing stuff up and playing with big toys. So there we go. So I can't remember what we were mining for now. Rubies. Look at that. We find some rubies. The geologists, you guys did your job. They're not fired. Let's see if we got any more in there. Do we have any more?
But then the rubies are fake.
Well, they better not be fake or everyone's get fired.
Now it's a volcano.
Now it's a big, what's called a pit. This is an open pit.
It's a volcano.
Okay, we didn't find any more.
It's an empty volcano.
All right, now, we didn't find any more rubies, but we found some, so we sold those, turned them into lasers and rings and earrings and stuff.
No, we turned them into laser guns.
So, are we done? No, what do we need to do next?
Refill it.
We are going to start reclaiming the mine now. We're done, so we're going to reclaim it. So we're going to start putting it back similar to the way it was before. But the first thing we want to do,
Everyone's dead.
we made a big mess here, and if it rains real hard, right, what happens if you start washing stuff down, you get like mudslides. What's that called? When you get like real hard rain or a lot of snow?
Storms.
Well, you have storms, yeah. But when you're washing stuff, like an avalanche is like erosion. We want to stop the erosion from washing stuff down and making stuff even messier. So while we still have our mining equipment, we can take our mining equipment, start making the slopes kind of flatter so the rain doesn't go. But one thing we decided, we're going to move so much stuff, we're going to leave a lake where the pit was. And one thing that was kind of neat, we left a big cliff on this one side. And a lot of times, raptors like hawks and eagles and falcons and stuff actually like to nest on those. So we'll leave that behind too. We're going to leave that big cliff there. And so now we smooth it all out. What else should we do now? Keep the water from washing stuff away.
You should make like a barrier around it.
Kind of a barrier, or it helps slow the water down. What did we save that might be helpful like that?
Rocks.
Oh yeah, beavers.
The rocks.
Should make a dam.
The rocks, right.
Let's do it.
Hire some beavers to make a dam. We can do that. We can put the rocks back. Say Mufasa's thingy over here. But what's happening is you put your pile on the.
Yeah, he died.
He's just taking a nap.
No,
So now we've got. So hold on. hands up. Okay, so now we've got the rocks that are keeping the water from washing down. Plus, it's now a new habitat again for the snakes and lizards. Now what should we do?
Plants.
Plants. Where do the plants grow in? That's all just dirt right now.
Oh, that's topsoil.
Topsoil. Remember we saved the soil? Now we take the soil and we sprinkle it around. Then we do what?
Plant that plant.
Now all those seeds we saved, we plant the seeds. Some of the little shrubs we started growing or small
That's an
trees.
upside down shrub.
There you go. Good job.
That one.
Are we too lazy?
Well, that's the upside down tree. They're growing in Australia.
Are we too lazy?
It's in the southern
Oh,
hemisphere.
I get it. I get it.
Okay, so we start planting
Laying
stuff
down
in, and we started doing all the planting. Now what do we do?
Now you put the animals back.
They're gonna go catch that. You can go catch Mufasa.
No, you.
Now the herpetologist can maybe bring some of the snakes and lizards back. We don't want to do that. That's Mufasa's place. Now what do we do?
No bread roll.
Go away.
Exactly what we do. We go away. Now
Because
there's
the animals hate us.
we use a few ists that we'll keep around behind for checking, like some botanists and zoologists to make sure stuff is working right. But if we leave them alone, the animals will come back. And now we've gotten our rubies, and we've now come full cycle, the mining cycle back, and we have an ecosystem working the way it used to work before.
And the animals are
Now,
so scared and hate us.
Now, how many in your class? How many do you have? 25. 24? Okay, what is 24 divided by 4? 6. So get into groups of 6, and you guys get to go do your own mining cycle.
Hey guys, listen. Can we drop off your lunches? Would that be all right?
I don't know how much time. Yeah, okay, now you carry them with them. Yeah, they carry them with them. Yeah. It's gonna hurt. Just go jump on the table. Okay, start running out of time. Sorry. You can go now. Decide what you're mining for, and go through the